With a deep breath, Akira summoned the shadows around him, cloaking himself in darkness. He became a blur, darting around the chimera, creating illusions that confused the beast. The chimera lunged at shadows that weren't there, giving Akira the opportunity to strike. He aimed for the lion head, delivering a swift blow that staggered the creature. The chimera roared in pain, and Akira seized the moment to unleash a flurry of attacks, each one fueled by the power of the shadows. Finally, with a well-timed strike, Akira plunged his dagger into the heart of the chimera, feeling the surge of energy as the beast let out a final, anguished roar before collapsing to the ground. The victory was hard-won, but as the dust settled, Akira felt a mix of triumph and exhaustion. He had defeated the chimera, but the consequences of using shadow magic weighed heavily on him. The energy drain left him feeling weak and disoriented, and he could sense the shadows within him stirring restlessly, as if they were hungry for more power as he caught his breath. Akira realized that his victory came at a cost. The use of shadow magic had deepened his connection to the darkness, and he could feel its influence creeping into his thoughts. He had triumphed over a formidable foe, but he also understood that the more he relied on this power, the more it could consume him. The battle against the chimera was not just a test of strength. It was a pivotal moment in his journey, forcing him to confront the delicate balance between light and darkness within himself. Emerging from the dungeon, Akira carried the weight of his victory and the knowledge that the path ahead would be fraught with challenges. He had proven himself as a capable warrior, but he also recognized the importance of mastering his abilities and understanding the consequences of his choices. With the chimera defeated, Akira was determined to continue his journey, ready to face whatever darkness awaited him, armed with the lessons learned from this ultimate challenge. Akira Oda's journey through the Kingdom of Morrigan has been nothing short of transformative, filled with trials that tested his resolve, courage, and understanding of what it truly means to be a hero. From the moment he was summoned from his ordinary life in Japan to face the darkness threatening this fantastical realm, Akira learned that heroism is not merely about strength or combat prowess. It is about the choices one makes in the face of adversity. Throughout his adventures, he encountered numerous challenges that forced him to confront his fears and insecurities, ultimately shaping him into a formidable warrior and a compassionate leader. One of the key takeaways from Akira's journey is the importance of teamwork and trust. In the beginning, he was just one of many students, but as he faced formidable foes like the Minotaur and the Chimera, he realized that he could not succeed alone. The bonds he forged with his classmates, particularly Tsukasa, Yuki, and Kenji, taught him that true strength lies in unity. Together, they learned to rely on each other's unique abilities, combining their strengths to overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles. This lesson in collaboration not only enhanced their combat effectiveness but also deepened their friendships. Reminding viewers that no hero is an island, Akira's journey also highlighted the significance of self-discovery and personal growth. As he navigated the complexities of his identity as an assassin, he grappled with the moral implications of his powers, especially when using shadow magic. The internal struggle between light and darkness became a central theme in his story, illustrating that heroism often involves making difficult choices and accepting the consequences of those choices. Akira's evolution from a hesitant student to a confident hero serves as a powerful reminder that growth often comes from facing our fears and embracing our true selves. Moreover, Akira's experiences with betrayal, particularly with Commander Saran, underscored the importance of discernment and the need to question authority. His journey taught him that not everyone who claims to be a hero has noble intentions, and that true heroism requires vigilance and integrity. This realization encouraged him to trust his instincts and seek the truth, even when it was uncomfortable. It's a lesson that resonates deeply, inviting viewers to reflect on their own lives and the choices they make in pursuit of their goals. As we conclude Akira's story, we invite you to reflect on the lessons learned throughout his journey. What does heroism mean to you? How do you navigate the challenges and choices in your own life? Akira's experiences remind us that every challenge is an opportunity for growth, and that the path to becoming a hero is often fraught with trials that shape our character. If you enjoyed this journey with Akira and found inspiration in his story, we encourage you to subscribe to our channel for more adventures and insights. Like this video to show your support, and share your thoughts in the comments below. What moments resonated with you the most? How do you relate to Akira's struggles and triumphs? Your feedback is invaluable, and we look forward to hearing your perspectives. Join us as we continue to explore the themes of heroism, friendship, and personal growth in future stories. Thank you for being part of this journey. The challenges he faced were numerous and varied. The dungeon was home to a myriad of creatures, each more formidable than the last. From venomous serpents that slithered silently through the darkness to hulking trolls that roared with rage, Akira encountered monsters that tested his skills at every turn. In one harrowing encounter, he found himself cornered by a pack of ravenous goblins. Drawing on his training, he quickly devised a plan. Instead of engaging them directly, he used his agility to dart between the shadows, leading the goblins into a narrow passage where their numbers worked against them. As they stumbled over one another, Akira seized the opportunity to strike, dispatching them with swift, precise movements. Each victory in the dungeon not only bolstered his confidence but also contributed to his growth as an assassin. He began to understand the importance of patience and observation, learning to study his enemies before making a move. This newfound wisdom allowed him to refine his combat techniques, focusing on quick, lethal strikes that capitalized on his opponent's weaknesses. The more he faced these challenges, the more adept he became at reading the battlefield, anticipating enemy movements, and executing his strategies with finesse. Amidst the chaos of battle, Akira discovered the significance of the magic stones scattered throughout the dungeon. These shimmering gems, imbued with ancient power, were not merely treasures. They were vital resources that could enhance his abilities and provide him with the edge he needed to survive. Each stone he collected resonated with a unique energy, granting him temporary boosts in strength, speed, or stealth. He learned to harness their power strategically, using them to turn the tide in critical moments. For instance, during a fierce confrontation with a fearsome minotaur, Akira activated a stone that amplified his agility, allowing him to evade the creature's powerful charges and strike from unexpected angles as he delved deeper into the dungeon. Akira also encountered various traps and puzzles that tested his intellect. He learned to think critically, analyzing his surroundings for clues and devising solutions to navigate the obstacles in his path. This aspect of his journey was just as crucial as combat. It taught him that survival was not solely about fighting, but also about outsmarting the dangers that lurked in the shadows. Through these experiences, Akira transformed from a hesitant young hero into a resourceful and skilled assassin. The dungeon became a crucible for his growth, shaping him into a formidable force capable of facing the challenges ahead. Each monster defeated, each magic stone collected, and each puzzle solved contributed to his evolution, instilling in him a sense of purpose and determination. As he emerged from the depths of the dungeon, Akira carried with him not only the skills he had honed, but also a newfound confidence in his abilities. He was ready to confront the darkness that threatened Morrigan, armed with the knowledge that he could navigate any challenge that lay ahead. As Akira Oda descended into the heart of the dungeon, he felt a palpable shift in the atmosphere. The air grew thick with tension, and an ominous growl echoed through the cavernous space, signaling the presence of the Chimera, a legendary beast known for its ferocity and cunning. This was not just another monster. It was a formidable boss that had claimed the lives of many brave adventurers. Akira steeled himself, knowing that this battle would test every ounce of skill and strategy he had developed during his time in the dungeon. The moment he stepped into the arena, the Chimera lunged at him with a terrifying roar, its three heads, lion, goat, and serpent, snarling in unison. Akira's heart raced as he quickly assessed the creature's movements. He knew that brute force would not win this fight. He needed to outsmart the beast. Drawing on his training, he employed a series of evasive maneuvers, darting to the side as the Chimera's lion head snapped at him, narrowly avoiding its razor-sharp teeth. Akira's tactics revolved around agility and precision. He utilized the shadows to his advantage, slipping in and out of sight to confuse the beast. With each attack, he aimed for the weak points he had observed during the initial skirmish. He struck at the Chimera's legs, hoping to destabilize it, while simultaneously avoiding the deadly tail of the serpent head that lashed out unpredictably. The intensity of the battle was overwhelming. The ground shook with each powerful blow the Chimera delivered, and Akira could feel the heat radiating from its fiery breath as the fight progressed. Akira realized that he needed to tap into his shadow magic to gain the upper hand. However, using this magic came with significant risks. Shadow magic allowed him to manipulate darkness, creating illusions and enhancing his stealth, but it also drained his energy and could lead to unintended consequences if not controlled properly. With the Chimera's relentless attacks, Akira hesitated for a moment, weighing the risks against the potential rewards. Ultimately, he decided to harness the magic, knowing that it was his best chance for victory. The atmosphere in the castle was heavy with tension as Akira Oda and his classmates gathered in the training hall, still buzzing from their recent victory over the Minotaur. However, the mood shifted dramatically when Tsukasa, usually the most boisterous and confident among them, stood before the group with a grave expression. He had been unusually quiet since the battle, and now, as he took a deep breath, it was clear that something was weighing heavily on him. "I need to tell you all something," Tsukasa began, his voice trembling slightly. "I'm cursed." The revelation hung in the air like a dark cloud, and the room fell silent. Akira's heart sank as he watched his friend struggle to find the words. Tsukasa explained that the curse had been placed upon him by Princess Alara during a moment of desperation. In a bid to protect the kingdom from the Demon King's influence, she had inadvertently cursed Tsukasa, binding his strength and limiting his abilities whenever he felt strong emotions, particularly anger. This curse not only affected Tsukasa's physical prowess but also his mental state, causing him to second-guess himself in moments of crisis. The implications of this curse were profound, shaking the very foundation of their group dynamics. Tsukasa had always been the one to charge into battle, the embodiment of courage and strength. Now, with his abilities compromised, he felt like a shadow of his former self. The others exchanged worried glances, unsure of how to respond. Akira could see the frustration and confusion etched on Tsukasa's face, and it pained him to witness his friend's struggle. The curse created an invisible barrier between Tsukasa and the rest of the group, fostering feelings of inadequacy and isolation. Akira knew that they needed to address this issue head-on, but the revelation also raised questions about Princess Alara's role in the curse. How could she have done this to someone who had fought so valiantly for the kingdom? The thought gnawed at Akira, and he felt a surge of determination to uncover the truth behind the princess's actions. He approached Tsukasa, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "We'll figure this out together," he said firmly. "You're not alone in this." Tsukasa nodded, though the weight of the curse still hung heavily over him. Akira's resolve only strengthened as he considered the implications of the curse. If they were to defeat the Demon King, they needed Tsukasa at his best, and that meant finding a way to lift the curse. He began to formulate a plan, determined to confront Princess Alara and demand answers. He needed to understand why she had resorted to such drastic measures and whether there was a way to reverse the curse. The more he thought about it, the more he realized that this was not just about Tsukasa. It was about the integrity of their mission and the bonds they had forged as a team. Akira gathered his classmates, sharing his thoughts and encouraging them to support Tsukasa in any way they could. "We need to stand by him," he urged. "If we're going to face the Demon King, we can't afford to have any doubts among us." The group nodded in agreement, their determination rekindled. They would not let Tsukasa's curse define him or weaken their resolve. As they prepared to confront the princess, Akira felt a sense of purpose wash over him. He was ready to uncover the truth, not only for Tsukasa but for the sake of their entire mission. The bonds of friendship and loyalty would guide them through this challenge, and together, they would find a way to break the curse and restore Tsukasa's strength. With newfound determination, Akira led the way, ready to face whatever truths awaited them in the heart of the castle. The atmosphere in the castle had shifted dramatically since Akira Oda and his classmates confronted Princess Alara about Tsukasa's curse. Tensions ran high as they sought answers, but what they uncovered was far more sinister than they could have imagined. Commander Saran, the very man who had trained them to be heroes, had been harboring dark secrets. During a clandestine meeting, Akira overheard Saran discussing a plan to betray the kingdom, aligning himself with the Demon King in exchange for power and immortality. The revelation struck Akira like a thunderbolt, shattering his trust in the commander. Determined to confront Saran, Akira gathered his classmates, but before they could act, chaos erupted. Saran, realizing he had been overheard, unleashed a torrent of fury. In a desperate attempt to silence Akira and the others, he summoned a horde of shadowy creatures that he had been secretly controlling. The ensuing battle was fierce and chaotic, with the students fighting for their lives against the very monsters they had trained to defeat. In the midst of the chaos, Saran's true nature was revealed. He fought with a ferocity that was both terrifying and awe-inspiring, his skills honed to perfection. But as the dust settled, it became clear that Saran was not invincible. In a final confrontation, Akira managed to land a decisive blow, but it came at a terrible cost. Saran, in his dying moments, unleashed a powerful spell that caused the very walls of the castle to tremble. The ground shook violently, and debris rained down as the commander fell, his last breath a chilling curse that echoed through the hall. The students stood in shock, grappling with the reality of what had just transpired. Commander Saran, their mentor and leader, was dead, and the weight of his betrayal hung heavily in the air. As the dust settled, The group turned to Akira, their expressions a mix of confusion and anger. "You killed him," Tsukasa shouted, his voice laced with betrayal. "You were supposed to be our leader." The accusations flew like arrows, piercing through Akira's heart. He had never intended for things to end this way, but the truth was undeniable. Saran had betrayed them, and in the heat of battle, Akira had acted to protect his friends. "I didn't want this," Akira pleaded, desperation creeping into his voice. He was going to destroy everything we fought for, but the students were too consumed by their emotions to listen. The bond they had forged began to fray, and Akira felt the isolation creeping in. With the castle crumbling around them, he realized that he had to escape. The very people he had fought alongside were now turning against him, and he could no longer trust anyone. As the walls shook and the shadows closed in, Akira made a split-second decision. He slipped into the shadows, using his stealth skills to evade the chaos and confusion. He darted through the crumbling corridors, his heart pounding as he navigated the labyrinthine passages of the castle. He could hear the shouts of his classmates behind him, their accusations ringing in his ears, but he pushed forward, determined to survive. Akira's resolve hardened with each step. He would not let this betrayal define him. He would find a way to clear his name and seek revenge against those who had wronged him. The world outside the castle was dark and uncertain, but he was fueled by a burning desire for justice. As he escaped into the night, Akira vowed to uncover the truth behind Saran's betrayal and the dark forces that threatened Morrigan. He would not rest until he had avenged his fallen comrades and restored honor to their mission. With the weight of betrayal heavy on his shoulders, Akira embraced his new path, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead as Akira Oda ventured deeper into the treacherous dungeon of Morrigan. He quickly realized that survival required more than just brute strength. It demanded cunning, adaptability, and a keen understanding of his surroundings. The darkness enveloped him, but rather than succumb to fear, Akira embraced it, using his stealth skills to navigate the labyrinthine passages. He developed strategies that allowed him to remain undetected while scouting for threats, often relying on the shadows to conceal his movements. Each step was calculated, and he learned to listen intently to the sounds around him. The distant growls of lurking monsters, the echo of dripping water, and the subtle shifts in the air that signaled danger. The training regimen for Akira Oda and his classmates was nothing short of grueling, designed to prepare them for the formidable challenges that lay ahead in their quest against the Demon King. Under the watchful eye of Commander Saran, a seasoned warrior known for his no-nonsense approach and rigorous standards, the students were pushed to their limits. Commander Saran was a figure of authority, his presence commanding respect and instilling a sense of urgency in the young heroes. He emphasized the importance of discipline, teamwork, and resilience, often reminding them that the fate of Morrigan rested on their shoulders. Each day began before dawn, with the students engaging in a series of physical conditioning exercises that tested their endurance and strength. They ran laps around the castle grounds, practiced combat techniques, and honed their agility through obstacle courses that seemed designed to challenge even the most skilled warriors. However, the most daunting aspect of their training was the time spent in the dungeon, a dark and foreboding place that served as both a training ground and a testing chamber. The dungeon was filled with traps, illusions, and creatures that lurked in the shadows, waiting to ambush the unsuspecting. Akira and his classmates often found themselves navigating this treacherous environment, learning to rely on their instincts and sharpen their skills. The first few days in the dungeon were particularly brutal. Akira watched as his classmates struggled to adapt to the darkness, their fear palpable as they faced the unknown. Tsukasa, who had always relied on his strength, found himself at a disadvantage in the confined spaces, where brute force was less effective than strategy and stealth. Meanwhile, Yuki grappled with her own insecurities, often hesitating when faced with the creatures that emerged from the shadows. Akira, however, began to thrive in this environment. His stealth abilities allowed him to maneuver through the dungeon with a level of confidence that surprised even him. He learned to blend into the darkness, using the shadows to his advantage as he scouted ahead and devised strategies to outsmart the lurking threats. Each successful encounter bolstered his confidence, and he quickly became a valuable asset to his team. As the days turned into weeks, Akira's growth as an assassin became evident. He developed a keen sense of awareness, learning to anticipate the movements of both his enemies and his classmates. He began to understand the importance of patience and precision, realizing that sometimes the best approach was to wait for the right moment to strike rather than charging in recklessly. Commander Saran took notice of Akira's progress, often praising his ability to think strategically and act decisively. This recognition fueled Akira's determination to continue improving, pushing him to refine his skills further. He practiced his agility, honing his ability to move silently and swiftly, and worked on his combat techniques, mastering the art of quick, lethal strikes. The challenges faced in the dungeon not only tested their physical abilities but also forged a bond among the classmates. They learned to rely on one another, sharing their strengths and weaknesses as they navigated the trials together. Akira found himself stepping into a leadership role, guiding his friends through the darkness and encouraging them to embrace their own potential. As the training regimen progressed, Akira emerged not just as an assassin but as a confident and capable hero, ready to face the challenges that awaited them in the battle against the Demon King. The struggles they endured in the dungeon became a crucible, shaping them into a formidable team, united by their shared experiences and the knowledge that they could overcome any obstacle together. The air was thick with tension as Akira Oda and his classmates ventured deeper into the labyrinthine caves of Morrigan, tasked with clearing out a nest of monsters that had been terrorizing nearby villages. The atmosphere shifted abruptly when a thunderous roar echoed through the tunnels, sending a shiver down their spines. The ground trembled beneath their feet, and the shadows danced ominously as the Minotaur emerged from the darkness, its massive form towering over them. Chaos erupted instantly. The creature charged forward, its horns glinting menacingly in the dim light, and the students scattered in all directions, panic gripping their hearts. Tsukasa, usually the first to engage, found himself momentarily frozen, his bravado faltering in the face of such overwhelming power. Yuki screamed as she narrowly dodged the Minotaur's furious swipe, while Kenji attempted to rally the group, shouting orders that were drowned out by the creature's bellowing growls. In the midst of the chaos, Akira felt a surge of adrenaline. He knew that standing by and watching his friends falter was not an option. Despite the risks, he made a split-second decision to help, his instincts as an assassin kicking in. He slipped into the shadows, moving with a fluidity that allowed him to evade the Minotaur's line of sight. As he observed the creature's movements, he quickly formulated a plan. The Minotaur was powerful, but it was also predictable in its aggression. Akira recognized that they needed to work together to exploit its weaknesses. He called out to his classmates, urging them to regroup and focus on a strategy rather than succumbing to fear. "We need to distract it," he shouted, his voice cutting through the chaos. "If we can draw its attention, I can get behind it." Tsukasa, still shaken but inspired by Akira's determination, nodded and rallied the others. "Yuki, use your magic to create a diversion. Kenji, you and I will flank it from the front." The students quickly fell into formation, their training kicking in as they began to execute Akira's plan. Yuki summoned a burst of light, casting it toward the Minotaur's face, momentarily blinding it. The creature roared in frustration, turning its attention toward the source of the light. Seizing the opportunity, Akira darted forward, his heart racing as he maneuvered through the chaos. He slipped behind the Minotaur, using his stealth skills to remain undetected. With a swift motion, he drew his dagger, aiming for the vulnerable spot just beneath the creature's shoulder. Meanwhile, Tsukasa and Kenji charged in, drawing the Minotaur's focus back to them. They struck with all their might, landing blows that staggered the beast. Akira could see the teamwork unfolding before him, each member of the group playing a crucial role in the battle. As the Minotaur swung wildly, Akira seized the moment. He leaped onto the creature's back, using his agility to avoid its thrashing limbs. With a determined thrust, he plunged his dagger into the soft flesh beneath its shoulder, feeling the creature shudder beneath him. The Minotaur let out a deafening roar, thrashing violently as it tried to dislodge him. But Akira held on, focusing on his target. The combined efforts of his classmates began to take their toll, and the Minotaur staggered, its strength waning. With one final push, Tsukasa and Kenji struck together, delivering a powerful blow that sent the beast crashing to the ground. Akira rolled off just in time, landing gracefully on his feet as the Minotaur lay defeated. The chaos subsided, replaced by a profound sense of relief and triumph. Akira's heart raced, not just from the adrenaline of the fight, but from the realization of what they had accomplished together. They had faced a formidable foe and emerged victorious, their teamwork and strategies proving effective against the odds. In that moment, Akira understood the true essence of heroism. It was not just about individual strength, but the bonds forged through trust and collaboration. As his classmates cheered and celebrated their victory, Akira felt a sense of belonging, knowing that they were not just a group of heroes but a united team ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As Akira Oda delved deeper into his training in the Kingdom of Morgan, he began to uncover a startling truth about himself. He was not just an ordinary hero but an assassin, gifted with extraordinary stealth abilities and formidable attack power. This revelation came during a rigorous training session, where he was paired with Tsukasa, a fellow classmate known for his brute strength and combat skills. While Tsukasa charged headfirst into every sparring match, relying on his physical prowess, Akira found himself moving with an agility and grace that felt instinctual. It was during one of these sessions that he executed a series of swift, fluid movements, dodging Tsukasa's powerful strikes and countering with precision. The instructor, an experienced warrior, observed Akira's performance with keen interest, noting how he seemed to blend into the shadows, striking with lethal efficiency. It was then that Akira learned about the significance of his stealth abilities. Unlike his classmates, who were trained to face enemies head-on, Akira's skills allowed him to approach situations from a different angle. He could infiltrate enemy lines undetected, gather crucial intelligence, and eliminate threats before they even knew he was there. This unique advantage positioned him as a vital asset to their mission against the Demon King. However, the contrast between Akira and his classmates, particularly Tsukasa, was stark. While Tsukasa embodied the archetype of a traditional hero, strong, brave, and always ready to fight, Akira's path was shrouded in shadows. Tsukasa often boasted about his strength, believing that sheer power would win battles, while Akira grappled with the moral implications of his abilities. The notion of being an assassin weighed heavily on him. He was trained to kill, yet he was also a protector of the innocent. This internal conflict became a source of tension between him and Tsukasa, who viewed Akira's stealthy approach as cowardly. Why hide in the shadows when you can face your enemies head-on? Tsukasa challenged during one training session, his voice laced with frustration. Akira, feeling the weight of his newfound identity, struggled to articulate his perspective. Sometimes, the best way to protect others is to strike from the shadows, he replied, his voice steady but uncertain. As their training progressed, Akira began to understand the implications of his abilities in the context of their mission. The Demon King's forces were not just mindless brutes. They were cunning and strategic, often laying traps for unsuspecting heroes. Akira's stealth would allow him to navigate these dangers, scouting ahead and providing critical information to his classmates. He envisioned scenarios where he could disable traps or sabotage enemy plans without ever being seen, ensuring the safety of his friends. This realization ignited a sense of purpose within him. He was not merely an assassin. He was a guardian, using his skills to protect those who fought alongside him. As he honed his abilities, Akira began to embrace his role, understanding that every hero has a unique path. While Tsukasa charged into battle with unwavering confidence, Akira would weave through the shadows, striking with precision and ensuring that their mission to defeat the Demon King would succeed. In this way, he found strength in his identity, ready to face the challenges ahead, knowing that every hero, regardless of their methods, played a crucial part in the fight for Morgan's future. As Akira Oda settled into his role as an assassin in the Kingdom of Morgan, he couldn't shake the growing unease he felt about the king and his daughter, Princess Alara. While the king had initially appeared benevolent, offering guidance and support to Akira and his classmates, Akira's keen instincts began to raise red flags. He observed the king's demeanor during their meetings. There was a certain intensity in his gaze, a flicker of something that felt almost predatory when he spoke of the Demon King and the need for heroes. The way he often glanced at Princess Alara, as if gauging her reactions, only deepened Akira's suspicions. The princess, on the other hand, seemed genuinely kind and compassionate, often encouraging the young heroes and expressing her desire to see peace restored to the kingdom. Yet, there was a tension in her posture, a subtle hesitance in her voice when discussing the king's plans. Akira couldn't help but wonder if she was fully aware of her father's true intentions, or if she was merely a pawn in a larger game. This dichotomy between the king's authoritative presence and the princess's gentle spirit left Akira feeling conflicted. He sensed that there was more to their story than met the eye, and it gnawed at him. The unease grew as the king outlined their mission, emphasizing the importance of loyalty and sacrifice. While Akira understood the gravity of their task, he couldn't shake the feeling that the king was manipulating their sense of duty for his own ends. The more he listened, the more he felt like a piece on a chessboard, moved at the king's whim. Akira's instincts as an assassin kicked in, urging him to dig deeper into the situation. He realized that his stealth skills could serve a dual purpose. Not only could they aid in combat, but they could also be invaluable for investigation. With his ability to blend into the shadows, he could observe the king and the princess without drawing attention to himself. This idea sparked a sense of determination within him. He began to formulate a plan to uncover the truth behind the king's motives. Under the cover of night, Akira would slip through the castle corridors, listening for whispered conversations and watching for any signs of deception. He knew that the stakes were high. If the king was indeed hiding something, it could jeopardize their entire mission. As he practiced his stealth techniques, Akira felt a renewed sense of purpose. He was not just a hero fighting against the Demon King. He was also a guardian of truth, committed to protecting his friends and the kingdom from potential betrayal. The thought of confronting the king about his suspicions filled him with trepidation. But he understood that knowledge was power. If he could gather evidence of the king's true intentions, he could confront him and ensure that their mission was not tainted by ulterior motives. As Akira prepared for his covert investigations, he felt a mix of anxiety and resolve. He was stepping into a world of shadows, where trust was fragile, and the line between ally and enemy could blur in an instant. Yet, he was determined to uncover the truth, not only for himself but for Princess Alara and his classmates, who deserved to know the reality of the situation they were thrust into. With each passing day, Akira's suspicions deepened, and he knew that the path ahead would be fraught with danger. But he was ready to face it head-on, armed with his stealth skills and an unwavering commitment to justice. Akira Oda was an ordinary high school student in Japan, navigating the daily grind of classes, homework, and the occasional daydream about a life beyond the confines of his classroom. His days were filled with the hum of lectures, the rustle of paper, and the chatter of classmates, all while he sat at his desk, often lost in thoughts of adventure and heroism. Little did he know that his mundane existence was about to take a dramatic turn. One fateful afternoon, as the bell rang and students poured out of the classroom, Akira stumbled upon an ancient-looking book tucked away in the school library. Its cover was adorned with intricate designs that seemed to shimmer under the fluorescent lights. Intrigued, he opened it, and in that moment, a blinding light enveloped him, transporting him to the enchanting world of Morrigan. This realm was unlike anything he had ever imagined, filled with vibrant landscapes, mystical creatures, and an air of magic that crackled with possibility. As Akira stood in awe, he quickly realized that he had been chosen for a purpose greater than himself. The land of Morrigan was in turmoil, plagued by dark forces that threatened to engulf it in shadows. The inhabitants, a mix of fantastical beings and brave warriors, were in desperate need of a hero. Akira felt a surge of determination. He had always dreamed of being a hero, and now, fate had granted him the chance to prove himself. The adventure that awaited him was not just about wielding magic or battling monsters. It was about discovering his own strength and the true meaning of heroism. As he ventured deeper into Morrigan, Akira encountered allies who would join him on his quest, each with their own unique abilities and stories. Together, they would face formidable foes, unravel ancient mysteries, and forge bonds that transcended the boundaries of their worlds. The themes of friendship, bravery, and the struggle between light and darkness resonated throughout their journey, reminding Akira that heroism often lies in the choices we make and the sacrifices we are willing to endure for others. The magic of Morrigan was not just in the spells cast or the creatures encountered. It was in the lessons learned and the growth experienced along the way. Akira's classroom experience in Japan had prepared him in unexpected ways, teaching him the value of perseverance, teamwork, and the importance of believing in oneself. As he embraced his new role, he began to understand that true magic comes from within, igniting a spark of courage that would guide him through the challenges ahead. With each step, Akira Oda transformed from an ordinary student into an extraordinary hero, ready to face the trials of Morrigan and uncover the destiny that awaited him. His journey was just beginning, and the world was about to witness the rise of a new champion, one who would inspire others to believe in the power of hope and the magic of dreams. The day began like any other for Akira Oda and his classmates, filled with the usual chatter and laughter as they gathered in their classroom. However, the atmosphere shifted dramatically when a mysterious figure appeared at the door, cloaked in regal attire that shimmered with an otherworldly glow. It was a royal messenger from the kingdom of Morrigan, sent to summon them for a purpose that would change their lives forever. The messenger's voice resonated with authority as he explained that the kingdom was in dire need of heroes to combat the looming threat of the Demon King, a malevolent force that had plunged the land into chaos. Akira's heart raced as he listened, a mix of disbelief and excitement coursing through him. The messenger revealed that a prophecy foretold the arrival of young champions from another world, destined to rise against the darkness and restore peace to Morgan. As the weight of the situation sank in, Akira exchanged glances with his classmates, each one reflecting a blend of astonishment and curiosity. They had always dreamed of adventure, but this was beyond anything they had ever imagined. The messenger gestured for them to step forward, and with a wave of his hand, a portal shimmered into existence, swirling with vibrant colors that beckoned them to enter. Akira felt a surge of adrenaline. This was the moment he had longed for, yet it was tinged with uncertainty. Would they truly be able to fulfill the roles of heroes? As they stepped through the portal, the world around them transformed, and they found themselves standing in the grand hall of the castle, surrounded by towering pillars and ornate decorations that spoke of a rich history. The king, a regal figure with a commanding presence, awaited them at the end of the hall. His eyes, filled with wisdom and urgency, locked onto Akira and his classmates as he explained the gravity of their mission. The Demon King had unleashed his minions upon the kingdom, wreaking havoc and despair. The king believed that these young souls, with their untapped potential, could harness the magic of Morgan and rise to the challenge. Akira felt a mix of pride and trepidation. The weight of the kingdom's hopes rested on their shoulders. The initial reactions among his classmates varied widely. Some were filled with exhilaration, their eyes sparkling with the thrill of adventure, while others appeared overwhelmed, grappling with the reality of their newfound responsibilities. Akira noticed his friend Yuki, usually the most confident among them, standing frozen in place, her expression a mixture of fear and determination. Meanwhile, Kenji, always the jokester, attempted to lighten the mood with a quip about being a hero, but even he couldn't mask the seriousness of the situation. As the king outlined their training and the challenges they would face, Akira felt a sense of camaraderie forming among them. They were no longer just classmates. They were a team, bound by a shared destiny. The journey ahead would test their limits, but together, they would learn what it truly meant to be heroes. With hearts pounding and spirits ignited, Akira and his classmates embraced their roles, ready to embark on an adventure that would not only define them but also shape the fate of the Kingdom of Morgan.